Hello, this is Uncle Jim, and I had a little project this afternoon, and I want to thank TinMan for this because he lit a fire under my butt to get this done. He was wondering what's up with the Contender. Are you going to fix the stock? And he likes the Contender videos, so this is for you, TinMan. And there he is right there, copying a feel off of Uncle Jim. Anyway. So what my problem was, I was ripping out the sling swivel for the bipod, and I would bend them. I would literally rip them out, or they'd bend forward, and it got tiring, and I got tired of that. These stocks are a little bit soft, the laminated stocks, and I tried epoxy and everything. So it's like, all right, we're going to steel. So I put a steel plate in here, and I think this is going to fix everything. I was also the action screws. I got two of them on this. They go right to the barrel bushings and the spacers. They were starting to get egg-shaped because they were soft steel. So not only was that bending, I was egg-shaping my bedding here, my bedding spacers. So it's like, let's just fix this once and for all, and hopefully this is it. So I put a steel plate in here. I chiseled out the stock to inlet it, but I got tired of chiseling, so I only went halfway, but the steel is halfway in the stock here. And then it can't go forward anymore, and that's where I was ripping it. And so now it's inlaid in there and beveled, and I left it proud because I got tired of chamfering out the stock, and I kind of like it like that. It's kind of badass. You got the black on top. I think it's badass. And so we found some screws in the garage to screw it to the stock, and my son had this gourmet epoxy that he uses for knives and stuff that just adheres to everything, and it's super good epoxy. So we epoxied it and screwed her down, and then the action screws with new bushings that are heat treated. So I just told my son I want the swivel about here so the bipod matches up. Let's see if we can put this on YouTube. I doubt it. Can Uncle Jim find the hole? Oh, would you believe this? Uncle Jim found the hole. Okay, so this is how I like shooting a gun. All right, that's my favorite. And bam, I don't think that's going to go anywhere anymore. And so I called on my son to line up all these holes and reference them and everything, and he is just so good at that. Otherwise, I'd be all over the place. He's got everything centered beautifully. He chamfered all the screw holes for the action screws and the ones that go to the wood while the epoxy is drying. So we have extra reinforcement here. I think we have 4 screws going to the stock from the plate with epoxy, and then I have my 2 action screws, and everything was in the garage. I used, this time I used super hardened bushings, okay, and that sits against the bushings on the barrel, so it's free floated off the stock, and it's not going to egg shape. It is hardened steel. As a matter of fact, my son said, don't make me drill that out because it's not going to work. It's tough steel. And so he drilled out the original bushings just enough to get the new bushings in, which fit tight to the screws on the action screws, if that makes sense. And then it's free floating off the barrel. I haven't tried it with my other barrels yet. But I think they're all going to be square and matched up. All right, and they're adjustable on each barrel. So if you know Contenders, all you need is a barrel. If you have a receiver, And the stocks, you just add barrels to it. It's an easy swap. 2 screws and you're done. I have a quick ratchet. I take them off. You can torque them, whatever. All right. So the problem was this wood's kind of soft. And this is my prototype stock. Here's the story on this. My wife got me this for Christmas from my neighbor. And my neighbor was moving, and this was his baby. And he was like, you know what? That would make a great Christmas present for your husband. And I'll throw in a 22 with a bull barrel with a laminated stock, a 1022. I'll just throw it in there too, because we like you guys. And that was one of the best Christmas presents I've ever gotten. I love this Contender here. And so he threw that in too. I got it in a safe somewhere. But this was his baby. He even had, I have it upside down because the epoxy's still curing. Okay, but I can flip it over. Anyway, he gave this to my wife with 4 sets of stocks. And the thing is, these are for the rifles, and the holes are different, okay? And he had plugged 2 holes and made it, let's see if I can grab this now. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. He had inlaid it with one of these, so you only use 1 screw to the barrel bushing, okay, instead of 2. But I like using 2 after seeing all that going on. So I eliminated that and plugged those holes and drilled new holes. But the good news is you can't see the holes anymore because I got a plate covering it, so you don't see nothing, okay? And of course I had to lop off the stock. I gave it an Anschutz angle and then took a little off of here because this wasn't meant for the pistols. And he also gave me the stocks, you know, the stock pistol stocks, but they're too skinny and wobbly on a bench, and I just like shooting it with the bipod. So that's why this video is going on like it is, because this thing, I can flip it over. I think the epoxy's cured enough. Okay. Because the beauty of this thing is, let's get focused here. Let's get the height right, okay? I'm sorry for the wiggly. That is what I'm talking about, people. All right? This is how I love the Contender. Even though it's got the carbine stock on it. But you can make it work. And what I really love about this, you can fold this up, you can take this off, plop it down on the bench, and bam, it's ready to shoot. I just love that. So it's totally free floated. It's got the little spacer bushings in there, so it's against the barrel to the action, nothing touching. And suppressed, these are awesome. So there's a 44 mag barrel on here right now. And you can just buy barrels, that's all you need, because everything else is ready to go. So 2 screws, you change your caliber. I love that. Here's another thing I love. All right, look at the trigger there. See the gap in the trigger? And it has a stop on the trigger. Okay, it's also got a stop on the trigger. Now, he had Thompson do a trigger job for him before he sold it to my wife, because this was his baby. He sold it to us as a 22. I have the 22 barrel, and that thing shoots really good. And but he had them do a trigger. Now, it's not super light, but there's no movement, and it breaks like super clean. And what's really neat about these is if you open the action and don't cock the hammer, you can dry fire it all day long without it even hitting the firing pin. It has a built-in play with it type sear, so you can play with it and practice with it. But here we go. I'll try and pinch this. All right, and that's all the movement you're going to get. Alrighty then. And what's really neat about this is it has a lever on the hammer for rim fire or center fire. Okay, so rim fire or center fire. And then again, if you don't cock it, you can pull the trigger. And it's only operating the sear, not anything else. I love that. And some people complain about that, about the older Contenders. I believe this is a Generation 2. And it has the Cougar engraved on it. Alright, I have no idea where these pistol stocks came from, but they're awesome. They feel so good. If you're right-handed, anyway. But I want to thank TinMan because once this epoxy cures, I'll give it a day or two, and then we're back in action. We're going to shoot 357 maximum, 38, 357, and 44 mag is one of my favorites, suppressed, and 22. But that's a little boring compared to a 44 Magnum suppressed with subsonic loads. But I want to thank TinMan, and I really want to thank my son. He made this go so fast. All I did was like chisel this out and told him what I want and kind of put the bipod here. And luckily I got lucky with my marking because I think it looks fine. It's not too forward. It's not too back. I think we did okay today. And I want to thank TinMan for the boost to get her done, because I've put this off and have so many other projects. But anyway, if you guys come across one of these cheap, get it. You can buy the barrels for like 180 bucks on eBay, and that's like a whole new caliber. Everything else is already there. It's 2 screws, bam. I got a 2.5 power scope on it, so I can shoot it. I can shoot it off my elbow or bench rest it just like this. And it's rock solid. I mean, you can put a sandbag under here. I prefer it over a rifle sometimes. I would really like to get a 300 blackout barrel, but the custom chambered barrels cost more than the older barrels, okay? Because I'd love a 10 millimeter, a 45 Colt, a 300 blackout. But they're more money, so I just pick up whatever. But right now I'm happy with 3 barrels. So I guess that's it. Cover anything? Got any questions? Whatever. Thanks for watching, and thanks TinMan. And what is this bone? What is this? Until next time, thanks for watching.